Well, hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kamai, and welcome to AKamaiChats. Today, I have a very exciting video for you. It is called 12 Tips for Working at a Coffee Shop. So I have 12 tips. I'm going to give you 11 of them, and then I'm going to save number 12 for the big reveal at the end. Hopefully, it will be the biggest. So, as a small business owner, a new small business owner, an entrepreneur, maybe like an independent salesperson, we work out of coffee shops a lot, right? And although I have an office at home, as you can see in the background, I got my dual screen, I got 3 printers because I'm extra like that. But sometimes I just need a quiet space to work. So I have 2 or 3 around where I live. There's like a lot of coffee shops. So I have many options. I don't have to go to the same one every time. And some of them are kind of ick because, like unsavory people go there. But I have one of my favorites, and I'm just going to say it, Royal Coffee is my favorite. It's in here in Vegas. They've got several locations, but I'm going to keep them all secret. Location. I'm not going to tell you where I live. So anyways, so as entrepreneurs and independent people, sometimes we work out of coffee shops, right? We either work there. Oh, I forgot to bring my microphone. Wah, wah. So anyway, sometimes we work out of coffee shops, or we have meetings there. I love to have meetings there because, let's be honest, I'm not having people at my house to meet, and it's really hot. So I have a bag of coffee. It's frozen coffee on my lap because I don't have a fan. I don't want to have my hair is tickling me. So anyway, so that's it. We work out of coffee shops, and I experience a lot of other people working there who have some pretty rude behaviors. And I wanted to share those with you so that you can avoid the embarrassment of being a butthole. Okay. So, I also wanted to say, like, before COVID, it was not okay to work from home, like legitimate, unless you have a business. I mean, unless you have an office. But now everybody works from home. They work out of coffee shops. They go and they have a sandwich and they're working. You can see people working all over town. But you need to learn how to behave when you are in a sandbox with other people. So this is 12 tips for working at a coffee shop. And the reason why I thought about this, it wasn't on my list for my 30-day challenge, but I was at a coffee shop yesterday. And I was working and I was having some focus time, and this ding dong plants his butt, like 2 tables away from me. And he opens up his laptop and he is full on video chatting with some girl. And everybody in the whole shop can hear their conversation. I'm like, how embarrassing is that? Do you not have earbuds, brother? So it was just so disturbing to me, disruptive to my work. I couldn't concentrate. So luckily I had my earbuds. So I put them in and I was listening to music until he went away. But don't, it's things like that. Just don't do those kind of things. Okay. So that's why I thought this would be a good time to share with you some secrets, some tips for working in a coffee shop. And I asked one of the baristas, a couple of them, like, what irritates you the most about when people work here? Like, they work here and they like stay all day. So I'm going to switch over now. I'm going to switch over to my screen share. Oh, wait, I got to press present first. Chatomate. Window. That's the one. Okay. Da, 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 da. I did it. All right. So it's called Coffee Shop Etiquette. So this is tip number 1. Buy something. So when you're going to be using a business's space, the right thing to do is to buy something. Don't sit there all day, soak up space, and like just get a cup of water. That's just rude. You're using the space, and so you repay them for that favor. You could be paying like $500-$600 a month for an office, but instead you get it basically for free. So you buy a cup of coffee. And if you're going to stay there, like my rule of thumb is 2 hours and I buy a cup of coffee. If I stay there more than 2 hours, then I go grab something to eat. You want to pay it forward and you want to repay the business for allowing you to sit there and use their air conditioning, use their desk, and use their Wi-Fi. Okay. And like 9 times out of 10, the Wi-Fi is free. So don't be a loser and go ahead and buy something. All right. Next tip. Come on, man. Next tip. Know your order. Okay. So I was asking a barista about this, and they had, they've got all kinds of complaints about people who come up to the window and like, I, well, don't do that. Like, know what you want to order, especially if you go to the coffee shop all the time. Just like give them your order, and they want to know, do you want it hot or iced? What size do you want? So know what your order is, and don't make them ask, because if they have to ask 300 people a day, what size do you want? Do you want it hot or cold? And I just realized this morning. I go to this coffee shop all the time. I always want my coffee hot. I can't expect them to remember my order, because like, who am I? I'm like just some chick that comes and hangs out over there, right? So be kind and know your order. No complicated orders. Tip number 3. And you see I have a little logo in the corner there. I was Googling like what kind of things do baristas hate, and they really, really hate complicated orders, right? And so what I did was I searched for an incredibly complicated Starbucks order. And like they do these things on TikTok. They make TikTok videos and people show off how complicated their Starbucks order or their coffee order is. So how is this one? A venti iced caramel macchiato with almond milk and an extra shot of espresso. Have the caramel drizzle divided equally in the bottom and the top of the foam with light ice. Add 3 pumps of mocha syrup, 2 pumps of toffee nut syrup, and a sprinkle of cinnamon on top. Serve it in a grande cup with a separate cup of ice on the side and a packet of Sweet and Low after all that sugar. Now, really, come on. So you've seen the ticket orders, right? It looks like a really long thing. And people on TikTok think it's funny, and they share their little complicated coffee order. If you want to use the space and you want to, keep going there and have them treat you with, kindness and not snicker about you behind your back, be nice and just have like a regular order cup of coffee. Okay. So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4, tip the barista. So nowadays, and I saw this, I saw a little meme, right? So you go to order your coffee or insert business there, right? They do it at the donut shop. They do it at McDonald's. They do it everywhere. So they have the little tablet, right? And they put your order in and they turn it around and they say, okay, you can insert your card and there's going to be a question. They're going to ask you a question. You know what the question is? How much of a tip do you want to leave? So like my rule of thumb for tipping, like people who are hourly wage workers that are not, regular wait service, because wait service makes way below minimum wage. If you are a barista, if you work at McDonald's, if you work at Burger King, the pizza place, whatever, if you're working in the brick and mortar store, you get a decent wage, right? At least minimum. You're not like below minimum. And that's why you tip people when they bring you your food, because they actually did something for you, right? So when I go to McDonald's and order my grandson's Happy Meal, they're not doing anything extra but what they were paid to do. So I don't feel the need to tip them. However, when I go to my coffee shop, because I'm a regular there, I always tip my barista, because, like not everybody tips them, but because I'm staying there and I'm using up their space, their air conditioning, their free Wi-Fi. Another way that I can thank the people that work there, not just the business, but the people that work there, is I tip them. Like it's $1, right? And I go to the coffee shop twice a week. What's $10 a month? Right. Well, I told you math wasn't my strong suit. $8. Okay. So what is $8 a month to tip your barista for, allow and being pleasant to you, right? So Just at least do that. Even if it's like 50 cents, just give them a tip. Tip number 5, be courteous to others. Like I was mentioning earlier in my video, don't be having like Zoom meetings in a public area where everybody can hear your conversation. Now, this is like a long time ago when mobile phones really started. Do you remember the BlackBerry? Yeah, so BlackBerry was like one of the first. It wasn't a mobile phone. BlackBerry was a like a Palm Pilot kind of thing, an organizer. But then one of the first cell phones they had was Nextel. Do you remember that? And everybody used to like have their private conversations in public. Like these ladies is shopping at Ross's, and you can hear everything that the other person on the other side has to say. No one cares, and it's actually pretty rude. So if you're going to be working in a public space, don't be courteous to other people around you, and like don't spread your stuff all over. Just be kind, be courteous to other people. Don't do video chats. Well, I mentioned that already. Yeah, so don't do video chats in public. That's just rude, and no one wants to hear your conversation. And what if the other person says something embarrassing? How embarrassing for you. Okay, so don't do that. Keep your phone calls private. Please do not put your call on speaker in a public area, especially in a coffee shop where there are other people trying to work. Keep your phone calls private. If you get a call, go outside. How hard is that? Right? Nobody's going to steal your stuff. Everybody leaves their laptop, when they're outside, and you go right outside the window. It's a glass door. You can see your stuff. So keep your phone calls private. Go outside if you have a call. Don't take root. All right. So I haven't really seen this as a problem, but like before COVID, I think it was a before COVID thing, especially in Hawaii, people used to go to Starbucks and just like sit there all day. Like, I'm not even kidding, all day. They would stay there. And I remember I was at Starbucks one time and I seen this guy working on his laptop, and he just stood up and he left the Starbucks, and he didn't come back for like a while. So I asked the barista, I'm like, hey, that guy, he left. And she goes, no, he does that all the time. He just leaves his things and then he comes back. Like, what? So you can save your spot. I was going to say couple your spot. So you can save your spot, huh? Don't do that. That is rude. You're just taking up space. And, in restaurants, and a coffee shop is really considered a food service place. They depend on their tables to turn. You can't be sitting there all day taking up a table. And they're not going to be rude enough. They're not going to be, so bold enough. Because a lot of times these kids that work in the coffee shop, they're like these young kids, right? They don't like have the nerve to tell you, hey, you've been here like 4 hours already. Just beat it. They're not going to tell you that. So be kind, be mindful of what you're doing, and you can hop around. You can go to another coffee shop. You don't have to stay there all day. Okay. So don't take root. Don't hog tables. This has happened to me before. Not that I've done it, but like sometimes when you go to a coffee shop and it's like kind of busy and there's a lot of people, people like spread their stuff out. Yeah. So they're sitting over here with their laptop, and then they got the backpack on this side, and then they got something else on this side, so that they don't want people sitting next to them. If you don't want people sitting next to you, babe, don't go to the coffee shop. Okay. So don't hog tables. Be kind, be considerate. If somebody is looking to sit down, move your stuff over, put your backpack by your feet. You don't have to take up extra space. So please be mindful and be polite, and don't hog tables. Clean up. So I got this one from the barista at the coffee shop that I like to go to. And I said, what do people do? People who stay here for like hours, what do they do that really kind of irks you? And she said, really? She said, our customers have really been really pretty nice. But she said, the one thing that some people do is they don't clean up after themselves. They just leave everything and they just leave. It's not a sit down restaurant where you're going to leave your dishes on the table when you're done. It is a quick service coffee shop. So be kind, clean up after yourself, put all your rubbish away. And you know what? Don't like dump your whole cup of coffee in the rubbish can, because it's going to leak when they have to take it outside. Then they got to mop the whole thing, right? So just be mindful of what you do. Clean up after yourself. What did your mom teach you? You clean up after yourself. So leave at closing time. I thought this was a pretty interesting one. So, in my research, I was looking at, what do the baristas, what irks them the most? And it was leaving at closing time. So if you're going to go there, in the evening when it's close to time that they're going to be closing, if they close at 5, you leave at 5. If they close at 9, you leave at 9. You don't go in there at 8:45 and then just finish your coffee and finish your work and think that they're going to just hang out till you're done. Be respectful and please leave when it's closing time. And I have a little note there on the bottom that says, don't come early either. And I didn't think about this, but like how like some like, let's just face it, like elderly people, they like to go to and wait before the store opens so they can be the first one in there, right? Back home, they still do that at Longs. They wait in line to get into the store. They don't like that when people are waiting outside for you to open the doors of the coffee shop because, it feels like pressure. I used to, when I had my scrapbook store, people would be standing outside waiting for me to open. And, I get it. You're excited about coming in and buying your stuff, but it puts pressure on me to hurry up and open my store and open it early. But you know what? If you do it once, you're going to have to do it again and again and again. So, like the store owner, if you open the store early once, they're going to expect you to open it again early the next time. So don't come early and don't leave late. Okay. So that's tip number 11. And tip number 12 is the final tip, which I forgot to mention in the beginning. Dang it. I'm going to have to edit my video and put something in the front. Darn it. So anyway, I have tip number 12 is the final tip, and it's like the big tip. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Hello. There we go. Yeah. So the final tip is just wait for it. The final tip is to be kind and to be patient and always do the right thing. You try to remember to do that in everything you do, because let me tell you, when you treat people with kindness and you are patient and you are loving towards other people, it comes back to you tenfold in your personal life and in your business life. So, I always do the right thing. I never rip people off. I don't lie to people like in my business. Well, I don't lie to people in person either, but I don't like lie to people because it's not right. Right. You have to treat people with kindness and respect. And I've been in business here in Vegas for more than 5.5 years. I'm almost at my 6-year birthday. Can you believe it? I started my business here from scratch, from zero. And 5.5 years later, I'm still in business. You know why? Because I'm transparent. I'm always honest to my clients, and I always do the right thing. So that's the big tip. That's the big finale. And although it doesn't sound like, it's not a nothing burger, you have to treat people with kindness and it will come back to you again and again and again. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed my video. I'm going to have to go back and edit the front because I forgot to tell you guys first that I had a big surprise at the end. So anyways, I really appreciate I really appreciate shit. I really appreciate you guys sticking around to the end. And yeah, so come back and watch another 3, 2, 1. I really appreciate you guys sticking around to the end. Maybe I should include this as a blooper reel. Thank you for sticking around to the end of my video. I really appreciate you. I would love a like and I would love a subscribe. If you find value in what I'm doing, it's easy to subscribe, right? It's not like, come on, let's face it. How many people have you subscribed to? Probably hundreds. I think I've subscribed to hundreds. What's one more? What's one more? Just subscribe to me. Okay, that's it for me. My name is Annie Kamai, and this is AKamaiChats. I will see you guys again soon. Bye.